Bitcoin is about to skyrocket. A lot of other cryptocurrencies are doing extremely well, and you should pay attention to them right now. I've been saying this for the last 6 months, last year, and it's been happening. Now, there are some really good pieces of news for cryptocurrency. There's some really bullish things that we have to cover in this video. There's a lot going on. A lot of cryptos are going absolutely nuts here today. I want to talk about it. Now, I finished recording the video and I had to go back. There's going to be a clip towards the end of the video. I literally had to restart all my software and record this because this is huge. This is really interesting. Some big piece of news I saw after I was done that I have to include in this video. It's specific to Bitcoin. Also, if you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on that bell notification so you can see future videos as well. Like I said, there's so much good news in the market. There's so much bullishness in this market. Of course, we can always fall down, right? We can always fall down, but dips are meant for buying in a bull market, and we are getting back to a bull market. This morning, I made a video on Cardano. It was up like 18%, and I was talking about how we were at a very interesting point because we were right at a point of support and resistance. You can see here, we had bounced off of this level before and then got rejected here. This is the Cardano Bitcoin chart. And basically I said, if we broke through here, we could make a big move up. And we did exactly that. I said in that video that I would go long Cardano if that happened. And I did. I got a 10x. I went 10x leverage and I got a 50% return. I even said in the Patreon, I was telling everyone exactly when I did it. If you want to do something like this, you can join Margex underneath the video. There's no KYC. There's no VPN needed. And I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say that. It's also somewhat risky, right? But there are situations like that are just kind of obvious. You can play the odds and make that. You can make that trade and make a good amount of money. Now, you could also have done something where you trade Bitcoin and you use ADA as collateral too. And you can do that with all different kinds of collateral. So you can increase your bag of all different kinds of cryptos and trade something like Bitcoin, which is really cool. There's a link to it underneath the video. You get deposit bonus. There's also a link down there to Blofin. I have a couple longs open there. They have 270 plus trading pairs, and they use Fireblocks, which is an industry-leading custodial institution. So it's one of the safest dexes, or one of the safest sexes out there. Centralized exchanges, obviously. I also think you should just have multiple set up in case you want to trade, just in case something happens to one. Let's say they freeze. This happens to exchanges all the time, especially like Coinbase, Crypto.com. They freeze all the time when there's a lot of volatility. Now, with that link as well, you get deposit bonuses to cover some of the fees as well underneath the video. Now, total crypto market minus Bitcoin is breaking out. You can see here we had gotten rejected. This is back in August of 2022. Came up, got close to it in November 2022, and now we're breaking back out, which is super bullish. I mean, this is awesome to see. We have a lot of cryptos exploding here today. I mean, like I said, Cardano's up 19%, 20%. Solana's up 10%. There are a lot of cryptos that are up 5, 10%. And like some of the big ones, Chainlink up 10%. There's a lot of excitement right now. A little bit of money flowing into Bitcoin, I will say, right? Bitcoin's up 1% or so, 1.5%. But a lot of new money is just flowing into these altcoins. Like it's new money to the ecosystem. We can still see that Tether is at a $90 billion market cap. So people are funneling money into Tether and then buying up other altcoins. It's great. It's great if you are in the cryptocurrency market right now. And I want to talk about Bitcoin mostly, but towards the end, we have 2 or 3 other altcoins that we have to talk about and talk about why there's going to be a flood of money coming into crypto. Fidelity's Bitcoin ETF is now listed on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, DTCC, 1 by 1. We've had this already, I think, with BlackRock too. And VanEck Spot ETF got a ticker symbol HODL, which obviously HODL is a big thing in crypto and stocks. But that's making progress. We're getting tickers. We're getting listings on DTCC. Also, VanEck just updated their Bitcoin ETF application. Everything seems to be going to plan. We continue to get more and more information like this where we get closer and closer to the finish line. SEC also just posted this investor alert on crypto asset securities. They did the same thing leading up to the Bitcoin futures approval. Spot Bitcoin ETF is inevitable. A lot of people are saying that's just a matter of time. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. This is also interesting. Fidelity, digital asset, showing Bitcoin addresses compared to global cell phone subscriptions. I mean, imagine if we actually got billions of users into crypto. I think there's no question we'll get tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions of people in crypto. But imagine we get billions. How does that change the crypto market? I mean, this is how early we are. Barely even showing. This is crazy. So if you think we're late, we're in before institutions, we're in before hundreds of millions of people come in, right? You missed out on some of the very early gains, but you're still going to get some huge gains if this really works out as well as we think. A lot of people have also lost their cryptocurrency. Just a reminder, make sure that you keep it in a place that you can actually get to it, that you don't forget your addresses. This is the dormant Bitcoin addresses. A lot of people forget that, yeah, well, there's 21 million Bitcoin, a lot have been lost. I just wanted to show you a couple of these. A lot of people know that there's Bitcoin lost, but take a look at this. It might throw you off because you see this address, it's got 31,000 Bitcoin, and you see last in is November 30. So you think, oh, well, that person obviously still has access to their wallet. They started in 2010, and now they've been investing all the way up till today, right? Or last week. That's not exactly true. If you actually click it and look into the address, they deposited thousands of Bitcoin at a time before there was even anything that told us the price. Eventually, when we actually see the price, they withdrew 9,000 Bitcoin at $0.053. So they sold this for $80. Yep, they sold it for $80 13 and a half years ago. And since then, there really hasn't been any deposits made. I mean, you can see like 0.0001. They literally had 31,000 Bitcoin at this time, and now they have 31,000.07 Bitcoin. They're not depositing. They might not even have access to this wallet anymore. And there are other addresses like that too. The one right underneath it with 28,000 Bitcoin. You can see here, they deposited the majority of it right at the beginning. Same thing, depositing thousands of Bitcoin at a time, They actually stopped depositing even earlier than the last one. And then they just started depositing a tiny amount as well. I mean, this could even be owned by the same wallet. Based on the last wallet had a transaction of 0.03 Bitcoin as well. This one also has 0.03 Bitcoin. And they've never done a sell or withdrawal in 13 years. Like I said, also just depositing like breadcrumbs, a couple dollars here and there of Bitcoin every month. I'm not exactly sure where that's coming from, but you can see they have not sold anything, and they have nearly $1 billion in there. Don't you think they would have taken profits at some point? And that's $1 billion now. They had 1.5 billion in the last bull market. Don't you think they would take some if they had still access to that wallet? So there are millions and millions of Bitcoin that have not been touched. I mean, if you go 10 years back, there is about 3 million Bitcoin that has not been touched since then. Nearly 15% of the overall supply has not been touched in over 10 years. That's nuts. So there's going to be a supply issue. There are a lot of people coming in. A lot of people will be buying up these ETFs. There's still a lot of demand right now. I mean, CleanSpark up like 8 or 9% here today. Actually passed $10 for the first time in a long time. So it's up 9% when Bitcoin's up 1.5%. MicroStrategy also up nearly 4%. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust up 3%. So people are buying, getting ready for the next bull run. They're buying these stocks as well, not just spot Bitcoin, not just crypto assets. They're also buying anything related to crypto. They're trying to get their hands on. One crypto that I've talked about a lot, Cetify. People continue to think it's too late to buy Cetify. I keep on saying that. I don't think it's too late. They're up 20% today, 270% in the last year. But if you look from the bottom, they're up 6x. I mean, in the last 1 month since I started talking about them, I actually started talking about them a little before this, a month and a few days ago, they're up 220%. I mean, this is crazy, right? They're not the only cryptocurrency, but I did talk about another one just a few days ago, blockchain bets, that I think is going to do well, up 17% here today. Alts are running. We finally have big caps running, which we haven't had in a while. I think that's where the majority of money is going in today. Of course, we are getting, like I said, smaller cryptos like this, gaming cryptos, launchpads that are moving up a lot, but we're getting money flowing into L1s and some that we haven't seen move in a long time. So people are loading up like they haven't before. VanEck expects Solana to join a crypto spot ETF war back in 2024. So they basically think that there's going to be another ETF filing like we have with ETH recently, trying to do a spot ETH. Now, I'm not sure about this. Maybe there's some more regulation, but sounds like Solana is a security. I'm not sure they're willing to list something in a spot ETF that has more regulatory uncertainty. But Solana is also moving up a lot today, even after rallying so many days before this. I think partially because they continue to get great metrics. Like this is NFT sales volume over the last 24 hours. They have 15.2 million, outpacing Ethereum, and they have more buyers. You see 17,000 versus about 12,000. So there are more people actually buying on Solana, and the overall sales volume is higher as well. Now, if you're feeling FOMO, that's completely normal, but you're probably not the only one. Take a look at this chart. This is Bitcoin versus the Argentine peso. It's up at all-time highs. Since the last bull market, it's up 147%. Now, if you cherry pick the bottom of the bull market or of the bear market back June 17, 2022, it's up about 7x. It's up 600%. So there are people in other countries that feel FOMO much worse than us in the US, and much more than some of the other, obviously there are a lot of countries that watch this channel, but there are people that feel FOMO way worse than us. I mean, I still feel it, even though I've been investing heavily into crypto the whole time. I always realize that there's more that I could have bought, but that's okay. The key to sticking around in crypto is to make sure that you aren't putting in so much that you feel uncomfortable. Because then when price falls down, you do make stupid decisions. Also, you need to make sure that you get enough skin in the game that it actually makes a financial difference to you in the long term. Now, I say that Bitcoin and crypto is going to skyrocket, right? We have CPI data next week. This is one thing that will cause crypto to skyrocket. If we get below this forecast, the last time that we got our CPI reading, we got 3.2 as the actual versus 3.3 expected. The forecast is 3.1. If we go under 3, the market is going to rally like crazy, like an insane amount. Mostly because it's a psychological number. If the Fed sees CPI, sees PCE, sees PPI, inflation in the 2s, they are much more likely to cut rates. Now, we also have a record amount of cash on the sidelines. This is coming just as of yesterday. 61.65 billion was added to the total money market fund assets. So we have a total of $5.9 trillion in money markets. That's nuts right now. This is coming from a recent podcast. This is from the All In podcast, talking about what's going to happen if the Fed cuts rates, which is their expectation. Let me play this for you because this is huge for crypto too.
I think there will be a rate cut in Q1, and I think this is the Biden bailout.
Let's go.
I think this is a Biden bailout by the Fed. Yippee! Because if they cut rates in Q1, that's going to make everyone feel really flush. It takes about 6 months to work its way into the system. But that's going to give a big boost to the Biden campaign.
If you see a quarter-point rate cut in Q1, $1 trillion of the $5.7 trillion in money market accounts will rip into the market.
Oh, wow. That'll be nuts.
Just people knowing that they're on the way down, that they've peaked and are on the way down, is going to unlock a lot of capital.
It's going to unlock.
Now, obviously, those 4 investors on that podcast, the All In podcast, are heavily invested in tech companies, crypto even a little bit, but they're talking their book a bit. But I think what they're saying is true. If we start to see the Fed cut rates, which is likely based on what you would want to do as a politician, we are going to see money flood in. And it's perfect timing. It's perfect timing. Cutting rates, the Bitcoin halving, SEC approving a spot ETF, inflation's coming down. What more do you want to see as a crypto investor? You want to see the pump, and that's what we've been seeing too recently. You want people to start feeling some FOMO. People are feeling FOMO. People are buying like they haven't in years. And this continues to happen. And I say no one's ready because most people aren't ready. I mean, we have massive amounts of money sitting on the sidelines right now. We are still really early on in the adoption curve. And even the people that bought Bitcoin don't feel like they have enough. Like, ask in the comment section. There are a lot of people that feel like they should have bought more, that they need to buy more, that they're going to buy more, right? So this is going to continue to happen. People are going to feel like they don't have enough. People are not going to be ready for this bull market. Too many people are sitting on the sidelines, and they're going to FOMO in. That's just how it's going to be. Now, I said earlier in the video that I had to add something specific to Bitcoin. I just saw that El Salvador is going to launch a new visa program called the El Salvador Freedom Visa. Limited to 1,000 people per year, the Freedom Visa program aims to attract applicants seeking residency and citizenship via investment similar to a golden visa program in other countries. The interesting thing is how they phrase this, and I haven't looked at this too much, so you can tell me in the comment section if they're just phrasing it weird, but they say investors will apply by investing $1 million in either Bitcoin or USDT. It sounds like they're saying you have to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin and then you'll get the visa. Now, I assume what they mean is actually you have to pay $1 million in either Bitcoin or USDT to the country, because it does say that they expect to make $1 billion a year from this. Either way, though, it is interesting. They say basically they're going to require a $999 non-refundable deposit in Bitcoin or USDT, and all accepted applicants must pass KYC. Upon acceptance, the deposit will be credited towards the $1 million in Bitcoin or USDT investment required to secure the citizenship. And you can also do this with your entire family. Now, why is this good? Well, first of all, if they're just asking people to buy $1 million in Bitcoin, that's cool. If they don't have to pay it, that's a cool thing. You can get citizenship if you're wealthy, but you buy Bitcoin as well, because they're only going to let so many people in, but they're basically just forcing people to buy Bitcoin, $1 billion a year. The other side is, even if they make them buy this to join the country, it's still going to be very similar. They are going to be getting hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion worth of Bitcoin or USDT every single year. And they're probably going to hold it, right? So they're forcing people to come in and buy it, or OGs in crypto to get a hold of Bitcoin, or to give them some of their Bitcoin. So it basically just causes more less selling pressure, more buying pressure, and they're probably going to hold it for the long term. This also, I think, even strengthens USDT and Tether. Right now, it's sitting around a $90 billion market cap, and countries are actually using it, requiring you to buy that or Bitcoin to come into their country. That's really good news for USDT in my mind as well. Maybe you want to try to trade a bit. There are links to Margex and to Blofin underneath the video. I'm continuing to buy spot. I'm also continuing to open up long positions with more amounts of money, because honestly, they've done extremely well. The larger the position, the lower leverage I've been going, but I've been doing some short-term trading too, like I said, on Cardano, up 10%, Cardano was up 5% and I made 50%. So I was doing a 10x, and I just closed out the position, put a stop loss in. It got triggered. We went actually below it. I sold at 55 cents after buying around 52 cents. It's awesome when you can time that out perfectly. Now, of course, make sure you do your own due diligence. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Make sure you're comfortable with risks. Let me know your thoughts on all the cryptos I talked about in today's video. Solana, BCB, S-Fund, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, this is not telling you to go out and buy these. I'm saying that they could blow up, especially if we start to see that money flow into the system. At the same time, we're seeing scarcity. At the same time, we're seeing demand. They're going to try to go buy crypto assets. They're going to try to buy tech stocks. It's going to be nuts. This is what I've been saying for a long time, and it's been working out all year long. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Check out those links, and I'll see you in the next video.